You having that background, I think also helps others really resonate with you and believe in you, because when you see that that kind of transformation is possible, then my transformation is possible. Maybe I'm not such a mess, because so many people are putting spiritual teachers on a pedestal and I need to be this perfect person. But when we share that we've been really in bad places, and that by opening up to that there's more, and all that we're opening up to, our lives have changed, that is possible for others as well. So I don't think it's a coincidence that you went through what you went through in your path. Maybe it was predestined.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. There's a video on your channel where you spoke about light workers and 10 signs that you're a light worker. And I'm curious to hear, what is a light worker from your perspective? Because I'm not really sure what it is.
Okay. I will say over the recent months, I've tried to get away from those kind of terms. I find they kind of become an identity for people. But what I do believe it's a real thing. I believe it's people who are here to help, people who are waking up first, people like you, people who amidst the chaos are finding something positive in it all. And also like this yearning to share something that will help others. It's people, I think, who are living their purpose, who have found their purpose. And this could be like a YouTube teacher or whatever. It could be someone who cleans windows. And every time they go to their customers' houses, they're just this cool person with a nice smile and a warm energy. And they're uplifters, I would say, light workers in general. And there's all these theories about they're extraterrestrials and this and that. I have no idea. I have my ideas, but I have no. But fundamentally, I feel like it's people who are spreading quote unquote light, which is to say good vibes, happiness, in just them being themselves and living their life.
Mm. And then you had a video with an interesting title, something around like, do not open your third eye, something, why you should not open your third eye. And we just spoke about you having a vision or something in your third eye in the awakening. And that I got curious by that title, and I wanted to ask you about it, because I know it could start, a deep process. So I'd love to hear what that was.
Yeah, that was sort of like what you could say a clever hook into delivering my message, which wasn't like, don't open your third eye. It was more like, if you don't, it was almost like, it was almost like not a joke, but the message was like opening your third eye, which I would look at as like a metaphor for just embracing awareness. You could say waking up. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to wake up, then how did I, it's been a while since I've actually made that video. I'm trying to recall what it was. It's basically like saying if you don't, like you could, it's almost like urging to not, how do I put it? Honestly, it's been so long. It's basically, it was kind of a joke, honestly. It was not a warning to like not open your third eye. It was basically like, if you're going to open your third eye, you're going to start to see things that you didn't see before. You're going to start making positive changes in your life. Things are going to be good. It's almost encouraging them to quote unquote open their third eye. But again, that's more of a metaphor for just embracing consciousness and awakening, if that makes sense.
Thinking maybe that you wanted to sort of not warn people, but also say that, hey, be a bit careful with this, because if we do open up, isn't there an element, if we do open up too quickly to these things and we're not totally grounded, we could get out of balance.
Yeah, I do agree with that. That wasn't the reason I made that video. If you watch it, it's not about that at all, but that is true. Although I also think if something like that happens to somebody, it's probably meant to be, honestly. I feel like people's timing feels like when people are ready to pop in that way, they do. But you're right. It can be quite ungrounding if you're like blindly just diving in, trying to chase enlightenment, whether it's opening your third eye or something else. And you're kind of naive to the fact of how powerful of like a residual effect that can have on yourself and your psyche and your life. It's something to be respected, I would say, spiritual practices in general. I agree with what you're saying for sure.
Do you think that we could will awakening, or is it just happening?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I think there's a teacher I like, Adashanti. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he talks about like the paradox of like meditation, you know, for enlightenment, and also grace. He says when someone becomes enlightened or awakened, it's like an act of grace. But he says there's kind of a relationship there. He says if you do want that grace to happen, you'll increase your likelihood if you meditate and do things, you know, in that regard. But it's to say that you willed it, it's kind of like a combination, he says. And also it does happen sort of randomly to people who aren't seeking it at all as well. So it's, I don't claim to know the answer to that, honestly.
What do you feel is a difference in you between like before you awakened and after the awakening? And I wouldn't say that the awakening is an end result either. It's, you know, forever unfolding. But for those who are new to like, what is awakening? Like, will I lose myself or will I change personality? What's actually happening? So how do you feel like the contrast between the before and after you?
Okay. I feel like it really, at the root of it, it's just having a bit more awareness and being able to discern what is authentic, what is real for you, and what is maybe your conditioning, your things like that. And there's just a dawning of awareness. And I think the challenges it presents is like when you suddenly turn on a light and you realize your closet's a complete mess. There's a lot to deal with in your life, in your psyche, in your belief systems. So I think awakening is just awareness. And then from there, you have a choice. You can continue to act from like impulse and instinct and conditioning, or you can start to like question it and make other choices, you know, based on like maybe your intuition or what you feel is true for you. So how do I feel now? How is it different? I would say my life has been, you know, once I had my awakening, I began the process of starting to at least create and design my life a bit more consciously. Whereas before it was completely unconscious, you know? So in that regard, my life is, I would say, a better reflection of who I really am. And also there's a peace that comes, not a constant peace, but at times a great peace with just being more less burdened down by your past and your unresolved issues. There's a lot of healing involved in awakening. So I feel a bit lighter energetically, still a mess, still have issues and stuff, but better than before. So there's a lot of different elements of how I feel now compared to before, but I would say that's my answer in general.
And you have been on YouTube for many years now, and I assume that you are, you know, evolving in your spiritual beliefs and spiritual development. Where do you feel you are now, sort of from when you started YouTube? For me, I feel like I'm in a totally different place, and what I believed in has changed. I am even more open-minded. I've opened up to even new concepts that I didn't before, and I know that can change also. So where do you feel you are now in your spiritual journey, and what are you most excited about, you know, talking about on your channel?
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough one to say because there's been many different like themes in my life since I began on YouTube, of all the different varieties. And the theme I'm in now, you might say, is I went for a while where I was really invested in growing my business, living my purpose. And there's a lot of action, a lot of doing, you could say, towards a goal, towards this hyped up future scenario. And what I've realized and sort of creating some of these things I was insistent that would help me and have a better life and things like that, and seeing how I'm always the same, no matter what I do, no matter what I create, I'm in a place now of realizing sort of like, that's not the answer. Another 100,000 on YouTube isn't really going to change how I feel in my day-to-day existence really at all. It's a fleeting little triumph that comes and goes, and then there you are. So I'm in a place where I'm trying to, I'm better at, you could say, acting out of inspiration and still doing things and working on projects, but not with this sort of false expectation that it's going to complete me or heal me or make me feel any better. And just try to be more appreciative of just being alive and being a dad and being a husband and going and been playing with life more. Just trying to have more of a good time and not being so serious and working so hard, that kind of thing. And also just being more flexible, because what I'm saying is a season in my life now, but I also feel like there's a lot of things I'm going to be working on in the near future. So I feel the season's already kind of changing and just trying to roll with it. Not trying to say, okay, I figured it out. I'm good. I can relax. I got it. It's more like being humble and saying, I don't know anything, man. We'll see what happens. I'm going to do my best in each and every moment. So I know that it probably didn't make any sense what I said, but it's hard to say, honestly.
To watch the full video, click the link below, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel.